Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to another cosplay review. Today I am talking about SummerCon 2024. Before I start, like always, there's going to be a companion video to this, which is the con haul, where I show you the merch and autographs that I got, and that'll be up in the card thing above and the description below. So you can go watch that after this if you want to see any of that. So, SummerCon 2024. SummerCon happens in Puyallup, Washington at the fairgrounds. It is apparently now called the Washington State Fair, not the Puyallup Fair anymore. I don't know. For those of you who aren't even up here, you wouldn't even know that. But for those around the area that know it, you would probably know more than I would. I haven't gone since 2007, so I don't know. But anyway, I haven't gone to the fair since 2007, so to that fair. So I have no idea. But anyway, that's where it takes place. And there's 3 openings, there's 3 gates with 3 parking lots, and all the parking is free. So there's a lot of good parking. You can get in very easily. It's really awesome. They also made it way bigger this year, which was kind of cool. But there's a lot more negatives than there are positives. Let's put it that way. We're still probably going to go every year. We don't really care. But the point is, there was more negatives this year. Hopefully they fix them by next year. We're still going to go, but whatever. Anyway, so let's start talking about the negatives first, because we'll end on positives that way, and it'll just be better. I don't know. So anyway, the main negative that everyone has problems with this con every year, I don't even do it, but I thought I should bring it up anyway. Apparently photo ops are really bad. So photo ops are when you pay in advance, then there's specific times for each celebrity guest. And it's usually only the celebrity guests, like the live action actors and stuff like that, or the really, really famous voice actors, like the big named voice actors or something. They'll usually be the ones who do it, and they'll have a time slot for each of them, or for the cast or whatever who's going to be there, and then you go up and you get a picture with them. You stand in the line, you pose, take a picture, leave, the next person comes, repeat, right? So you've seen them at other Comic Cons probably. Like if someone meets like Hugh Jackman or something, he'll be standing there and someone will come up, he'll take a picture, that person will leave, the next person will come up, he'll take a picture, that kind of thing. So they do these too. But they're really bad, apparently. Like, none of them are professional at all. So, it seems like they just don't know what they're doing or something. So, the main problem everyone's been having is the same every year, and it's that they're just uncoordinated. Like, there's no communication, there's miscommunication as well, and a bunch of other stuff. So like people were saying, oh, come back at this time, and then they come back at that time and it's already over. It's like, well, why'd you tell me to come back at this time? This is after the thing. You know, at least ask if that thing is going to be at this certain time or not, or make sure what time it's going to be before you tell me that, that kind of thing. And then stuff like there was things take forever, and it makes everything run later. So like something will happen, like where they start late or something, like maybe the photographer runs late or something, or the actor runs late or something like that, and so the line starts late. That ruins it for the rest of the weekend, because now all of them have to go later. Because if it's supposed to be like 1 to 1:30, and then one is at 1:30 to 2, then 2 to 2:30. If that starts at 1:10 or 1:15, that now has to go to 1:45, and then it has to be 1:45 to 2:15, and all of that has to change. Everything, all the rest of them have to change, and it makes it worse for everybody because they can't be coordinated. And apparently another thing was that the lighting was really bad. Like some people were saying that their photos were extremely overexposed, and there was one person who said that it was so overexposed that his face was all whited out, and so you couldn't even see his face in it, so you couldn't even tell who was in the picture. So it's like they didn't even check the white balance on their camera or the exposure on their camera, and didn't make sure that setting was set. All they had to do was literally like 10 seconds before that have like a staff member stand in there and start messing with the settings, set it correctly, and then go, okay, that's good. Now we can start going. They apparently couldn't just do that. I don't know why, but again, it's not something I do, so if it's something you did and either had a positive or negative experience, go ahead and leave that down in the comments, and I don't know, have a discussion about it or whatever. But again, I didn't do it, so I don't know. And I'm never going to do it, mostly because I don't want to pay for extra just to have a photo that I'm not going to be able to see until I get it. So I'm not even going to know if it's going to look good until after, way afterwards. and it's already paid for way in advance. So I could pay for something that looks really bad and I don't ever want. I've had that happen where I've had we had some at PAX where they did green screen stuff. I don't like any of them. So, you don't get to see them. You don't get a retake. You don't get a nothing. At least those ones are free. These ones you got to pay for. These photo ops you got to pay for. The ones at PAX you don't. So, I don't mind them being really bad because I didn't pay for them. But if you're paying for them, it's like $120 sometimes for some of these things. I'm not paying for that just to get a bad photo out of it. No, not happening. Anyway, we should move on to something else. The main thing I have a problem with is how much food costs and the hidden costs in some of the food. So, there's one that I actually like, but I wished you didn't have to pay this much for it. It's not worth this much money, even at a fair or a fairgrounds or a convention or event or anything. Even at a concert, I don't think it'd be this much. There's a booth that sells. I can't eat a lot of foods. There's a lot of stuff I can't eat due to I have lactose intolerance, and there's a lot of food that I just don't like as well. And I really shouldn't be having too much grease or something, because it gets caught in my throat and I'll start coughing and having a dry cough and stuff like that. And I don't want that throughout the convention, especially during these times. So I just try not to get those as much as possible, or as very little as possible. But there's this one that's a stand that has a bunch of different types of stuff, but they have a basket of chicken strips with fries. And they were and I was like, okay, can I get the chicken strips? It's 3 chicken strips for $15. And then you get fries with it. And I was like, that's ridiculous, but whatever. That's about the only thing I can eat here. So we actually did bring a cooler with ice in it, with some sandwiches, fruit snacks, and drinks in it. So, and then we had our own water bottles that we would fill up. And we also had hydration packs and stuff like that. These little things you put in them, the flavor packs, but they were hydration ones. And so I went to go buy that food, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to do it with curly fries or regular fries?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I'll just do curly fries." I didn't know that it was an extra $2.50. They didn't say that. They just said, "Did you want regular or curly fries or onion rings?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll do curly fries." They didn't tell me it was going to cost $2.50 more. It was it was 18 something at that point. I was like, that's almost $20 for 3 chicken strips. They gave me 4, but they were this big. The chicken strips were literally maybe 4 inches wide by maybe 1.5 inches thick. And I got 4 of them. And then some curly fries. That's $20? No. So, I mean, I had to eat them because I paid for them. But, after that, we were like, no, we're not doing that. And then they had some Korean cheese dipped things. They were it had a hot dog part of it. It was kind of like a corn dog, but only part way. And then it was a bunch of cheese, and it was deep fried. And they were like, okay, let's go get those. So they got some of those. Hardy got one, and Atlas got one on Saturday. And they were $15 or something like that, or $14 or something for one of them. You got one dog, and that was it, or one stick thing, and that was it. And it was basically a mozzarella stick with sugar all over it and ketchup and mustard all over it, and that's basically it. And then cheese inside. And he said it was pretty disgusting. So Hardy, I don't know if he liked his or not. If he did and he wants to comment, he can. But Atlas said it was not worth. It was decent, but not very good. But definitely not worth the money. And then on Sunday we were like, do we really want sandwiches for 3 days in a row? So we're like, screw it. Let's go get something else. And so I did eat half of my sandwich, but we were like, okay, let's go get these hand dipped corn dogs. These look really good. So they have the hot dogs. They dip it in the stuff, and then they let it cool off a little bit so that it dries on there. And so it was the batter was hand dipped, basically. It was really good, actually. But they were $9. It was $18 for both of them, for me and him. It's ridiculous. That's expensive. So we got 2 corn dogs. You can get 2 corn dogs for 50 cents out of a box. Why? No, they're not $18. Come on. They were really good, but they're not worth $9 a piece. I don't know. The other main thing was the gaming area. We didn't even go over there. Um, we found out why. It's a 15-minute walk away. They had like a cart that would take you over there, and it would still take like 3 minutes to get over there by cart. It wasn't even anywhere near the rest of the stuff. There was no need for that. I don't understand. What's the point of putting it further away than even the next food area? Like if you go out of there, you can go like there's a 7-Eleven, there's a Taco Bell down the road. You can go there faster than you can get to the gaming section in the convention. Why? Why would you put stuff that far away? I don't know. It's just like how SoccerCon and everyone else in the Seattle Convention Center building, they have another building that's 3 blocks away. Why do we keep doing this? Quit putting things across the city. We don't want to walk across the city to get to the next part of the convention. That's ridiculous. Especially in SummerCon. It was like 80 degrees out, 86 degrees on Friday, and no, it was 86 on Saturday, I think, and like 80 on Friday. We're not walking 15 minutes in the sun to go play some video games. That's ridiculous. If we wanted to do that, we could just come back home. We're not doing that. So that's ridiculous. They need to move that. Other than that, I really wish the pavilion had more elevators. They only have 1 elevator for everybody. It's semi-big. It's a little bit bigger than a regular elevator. I think it's a service elevator, so that's why. But it is very, very crappy. Like it jolts around a lot, and it feels like it's gonna break or like bust out on you. But there's only the 1, and it's very, very slow. It takes like 30 seconds to go a single floor, but even then, it takes like a minute for the door to just close because it closes super slow. So it's like you're just wasting our time. You're making it take longer for no reason, and I don't know why there's only 1. That's ridiculous. There's like a few thousand people here. Why do you only have 1 elevator for everybody? I don't know. Anyway, the last bad thing was the ADA. This was probably, for me, the worst. Because I do ADA, because I have a bad back, and my left knee is pretty bad. So I can't stand in those couple hour long lines. And just doing the Sarah Miller Cruise line, which that's not a big deal, but I'll talk about that in a second, I guess. But being in that line, because I didn't have ADA for it, and she talks a lot, so she talks to the people a lot, and that made it so that I had to stand in line for like 30-45 minutes, and my legs were starting to really, really hurt, and so was my back. So I was lucky I got up there when I did, but when we did, we had to go and sit down for like a half hour. So but the ADA was really weird this year. I don't know what it was like last year because we ended up not using it last year. We just stood in all the lines and were in pain the whole time because we didn't know that we could get ADA. But we didn't even know what it was really. So whatever. But we went to the booth to do it. And what they did, usually what they do at conventions is they give you a sticker. You put it on the back of your badge or somewhere on your badge. And then you show that and go, hey, I'm ADA. And they're like, oh, you go to this line. There was nobody managing lines at all. They were just like, fend for yourselves, everyone. So we're like, okay, that's bad already. So I was trying to find people, be like, how do we do this? But when we go to the table, because we were like, let's go to the table first and ask. And so we were like, okay, well, we want to see these people, but we want to get in line, so we need to know how we do this. What they do is you tell them which guests you want to see. They'll give you a little card that has a written time on it that they write, and then who it's for. And then you have to show up at that time, or you're not supposed to be able to use it. What? That's not what ADA is. That is what special treatment is. That's not ADA. We don't want you to tell us, come here at 3:30 to use this. We might not be able to make it at 3:30. What happens if we're having an emergency? What happens if it's someone who's like, I don't know, wheelchair bound, and then they have something wrong where they have to go do something, like something emergency related, and they can't make it. Or let's say people keep taking up the elevator and they can't get upstairs to go to one of those lines upstairs. Or like they're like, hey, we're gonna leave at 3:15 to go into the elevator, and then they can't get the elevator for 15 minutes. Now they just missed their spot. Then what? That's not how ADA works. That's not what that means. So they were just screwed up the entire weekend. So we had passes for a couple of them. We were lucky enough that none of them understood what was happening because the communication was so bad. Like, no one would talk to anybody. They didn't know anything about what anybody else had said or done. They didn't know what was going on. None of the people who were handling the people who would handle the money so that you could get your stuff autographed, none of them knew anything about ADA or anything. They didn't know what the cards were. We handed them, they're like, we don't even know what these are. So we're like, okay. But we were lucky that the 2 that we were doing that we needed those for, or no, 3 that we needed those for, let us still use them. So, but I had heard or I'd seen on Facebook that somebody said that they weren't letting them. Like, there was lines, like other guests that wouldn't let them in the line because they missed the time. That's not how ADA works. So just give us a sticker like everyone. Stop trying to be different. Please stop trying to be a different convention and just do the thing that everybody else knows works. There's a reason why they all do it that way. It's because that's what works. Do that. It's so easy. As far as what I was talking about earlier about like Sarah Miller Cruz talking to people, some of the guests didn't seem like they wanted to be there, apparently. I don't know. The ones I saw were fine, but apparently like Mario Lopez seemed like he didn't want to be there, and a couple others. But I don't know. I can't really say anything to that. I didn't go see them. I don't know. Just maybe if you don't want to be here, don't be here. Don't accept a guest request if you don't want a guest. It's that easy. But like with the thing with Sarah, she likes to talk to people. Sarah Miller Cruz, Lumine from Genshin Impact. She likes to talk to people, and there was 5 people in front of me when I got there on Saturday to get my last thing signed from her because I missed it and I had to go back. I talk about it in the video. It's right here. It's Trials of Mana. I talk about that in that video, but there was only like 5 or 6 people in front of me, or maybe 5, I think, and it took 45 minutes. Half an hour to 45 minutes because she just kept talking to them. So I did give her my card so she might see my channel and might see this. Nothing against you. I'm just saying that took a while and that was painful because my back hurts real bad. We had to, like I said, we had to go and sit down for a little bit to make it so that my back felt better and stuff. And so I was off my feet. But yeah, also the air conditioning was really bad up there. So it was hot. And yeah, it was just bad. But I got it and it's fine and I'm alive, so whatever. But anyway, that's all that's really bad about it. Everything else is pretty good. There was a lot of good tables this year. I liked a lot of the merch. We actually bought quite a few things. Like I got this little fidget gun. So this is kind of cool. So we got that at a shop. I have down here, the same shop had Dante's guns from Devil May Cry. So we're going to do that eventually, hopefully by PAX. As well as a few other things that I bought. There's some Kingdom Hearts stuff, and it was fun. So we had a lot of fun there. Friday, we didn't really do anything we cared about. It was just we were doing something to go meet Eric Vale doing his characters. So we didn't really expect any pictures. Nobody took our pictures, but we didn't expect them to, like I said. So nothing really happened that day. We were just running around doing whatever. But we were able to use that, no attention time to get almost all the autographs. I got all but one because I said I forgot it, the Sarah one. I was already in her line the day before, but I'd forgotten that. So I had to bring it the next day. But I would have, if I had it, I would have gotten it at the time. But we went and got everything done ahead of time in costumes that were not going to get any attention. We looked kind of normal, so it didn't really matter. So that was easy. And then we got a bunch of cool free stuff, so that's cool. A bunch of 3D printed stuff I found, all that kind of stuff. Nothing else really bad would happen. Everything else was fine. We were able to bring our wagon in. We have one of those collapsible wagons. It's a little bit smaller one, which is good. I have a cooler that I bought, so we were able to bring snacks and drinks. And the ice lasted all day, so that means that it's a pretty good cooler. It's good insulated. So the ice would barely, it was like maybe that much melted in there, which is almost nothing. The thing's pretty big. So that's good. Honestly, nothing else really bad happened. Got a lot of good video of people. Didn't do too much walking around video this time, but it's because we were in costumes that really couldn't do it. Cloud was impossible to do that half the time, because not only were we being stopped some of the time, but it's just really hard to do that when I have a giant sword. I also got sunburned right here a little bit. It's actually not really all that bad. It doesn't hurt at all, but it's red. As well as like right here, I got it a little bit, but that's just red. It doesn't hurt either. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. Everything else was fine. We didn't have any problems talking to staff. They were all, the ones who we did talk to were nice. Some of them just didn't know what we were asking. Like, we were asking about the ADA stuff, and some of them just had no idea. They were like, we can't help you. We don't know. You know, they were sorry, but it's whatever. I don't really care. If you don't know, you don't know. There's nothing I can do. And the rest were just like, you know, they were good. So there was nothing wrong with them at all. A lot of good cosplayers this year. There was a lot of Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel, because they had some guests from them in there. The same place that Phil Lamar was, the same building he was in, they had all of them in there. And so that was pretty cool. And what else? Other than the gaming thing being too far, which we weren't even going to go to anyway, everything else was contained pretty easily. There was 3 buildings this time. Last year, I don't even know if they used one of the other buildings. So there's the Showplex, and then you get in. So from my point of view, you get in, and there's the Showplex here that goes this way, and then over here is the pavilion. So the Showplex is where the main expo stuff is, like the main what do you call that, vendors hall and stuff like that. And then they also have the celebrity guests, like the actors, like the ones that were not voice, but like in person on camera, like movies and TV voice, regular actors. The pavilion was all the anime voice actors, and then the bottom floor was a bunch of vendors and artists as well. And then behind that was a construction area, and then next to that was another building that had an expo hall thing on it. So it was kind of hidden. It was hard to see, but you know, it was maybe a 2-minute walk from the entrance, you know, so it's not that far, but or maybe even 5 minutes. But that was where they had the like Phil Lamar, the Hell of a Boss, and Has Been Hotel, that kind of things. So yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Yeah, so I'll just end it here, I guess. Everything was fine after that. So anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. It's a little abrupt, but whatever. That's going to be the end of this video. So if you feel like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.